You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't know how that's
amazing.
possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber. Awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpowerproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast. So let's just get the cat out of the bag and the start of this one. If you're watching, you may notice there's something on our desk. It's large, it's blue, it's a sphere.
Max Page. Appreciate it, buddy. Now I can stereotype worldwide.
Correctly.
Is there
Worldwide stereotyping.
is there a specific reason why Africa's facing the camera?
No.
No, actually,
but,
I just put it up there, but
no.
we could be.
Just ironic.
Yeah. Don't you think?
Let's get America going there.
Yeah.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in for the podcast. This has been America's Diesel Podcast. This has been Tyler from Spokane, Washington. You can find us on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. Also, make sure and check out our Facebook group, our Instagram page. It gets pretty spicy in the group. Highly recommend it. You can also leave comments on the YouTubes. If you want to watch it, again, this is a podcast. I know most people don't watch podcasts, but if you want to see the globe that we have on our desk now,
yeah, I bet
there she is.
I bet people in Chad, like every bedroom has a hole in the drywall. Yeah,
can you imagine
chatting out?
Chad, or like if the
it's kind of a weird name, just with the rest of the countries in Africa. I don't know why I'm just going after Africa right now.
Okay. Tyler reviews.
Oh, yeah, keep those reviews coming in. We greatly appreciate every single one of them. Leave your 5-star review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot that, send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure you include a picture of your truck and an address so we can send a decal to it. It looks just like the logo on my hat.
I don't have one on today.
Lame.
I know. If you need parts for your diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. If you see that quick ship logo, it's in stock, ready to rock. If you have questions about anything, make sure and give our sales technicians a ring. If you are purchasing with us and you're a podcast listener, which if you're listening, congratulations, you're a podcast listener, make sure in the notes section, the order notes section, type podcast, or let your salesman know that you are a podcast listener. And that helps us when we total up things at the end of the year to basically keep the podcast going, because at the end of the day, money makes the world go round, and yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. If you place an order and you didn't do that, no harm, no foul. Shoot me an email, shoot me a call, shoot me a freaking whatever. Let me know your email address, order number, whatnot. I will get that flagged and tagged and make sure that counts towards a podcast order.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did an episode about cobalt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've actually got a lot of good responses on YouTube from it.
Yeah. I understand.
Some not so great.
They're not okay. This is my way of not justifying, but why I said what I said. I said African Americans because sounds much better than just saying like those blacks over there.
It's kind of true. And at the end of the day, like not at the end of the day, but like when
if that person from Congo moved to the United States, he'd be an African American.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I mean, they're
It's not a joke.
I was always taught in elementary school, like growing up, in the heart of the Bay Area, that calling someone what their skin color is, like, and even then, even in elementary school, I always thought it was weird when on the placement tests I had to, you select white or African American. I was like, wait, so what the hell is he can? But like the fact that I would watch maybe something on news and they refer to a person as black.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they can't say that.
Settle down, bud. Like,
so
easy there.
It's pretty ingrained in Tyler and I's heads, especially from the age that we've went to school. It's like you can't call someone black.
Yeah. Hence why I called them African Americans. We all knew what I was trying to say. All right.
It's true.
Golly.
Look, I just thought you were in the moment, and I didn't want to bug you.
We had one.
They're
comment.
actually, I think it's called the Congolese people.
Yeah,
I think
probably. They're the OG Africans, the pre-Christopher Columbus Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we better just stop there.
Yeah. Dare say home field advantage? I don't know. I don't know. First world problems, right?
Anyways.
So yeah, so Max Page ever so politely sent down a
globe.
fucking globe. I love it. So Max, I didn't tell Tyler this was coming in because he said on the Facebook page and he commented, he's like, globe sent. I think it's like they're always said.
Oh really?
And I was like, I'm gonna watch this thing. I want to try.
Well, you were gone, and then Martina messages me and says you have a package up here. I'm like, did I buy something? Because it said like straight up addressed to Tyler Lucas.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh, he addressed it to you. Okay, I thought you switched
and
the
so
podcast.
I was like, did I order something and I accidentally ship it here? Then I open it up and I see a globe. I'm like,
perplexed.
I guess everybody could use a globe, I don't remember ordering it.
I was gonna get the globe and like bust it out during during this episode and like highlight.
Too late.
And highlight it. Like here it is.
Well, here's now where it stays.
Now we've got it, and it helps out because we're worldwide.
We're worldwide.
Let's put a shrimp on the barbie down there.
Yeah, down there.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, all right.
So next thing, I'm gonna ask Tyler first because he's been here longer.
Yeah.
Between these two colors, which do you want? Blue or brown? I'm not telling you.
I'm gonna say brown.
Okay.
What do you got? Oh Lord.
Got you guys a little Christmas present.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Dude.
Talked about flashlights.
Fucking
Corey?
See, you make me feel like a dick because I didn't get you anything.
Well, Corey got me a nice bottle of booze, and I figured I'd get you guys flashlights. So
Thank you, sunshine.
Epic.
now the impetus is on you, jerk. But so this is
I called the Africans wrong. Yeah. I'm a jerk because I didn't get Ben a surprise gift.
So what they have in their hands there is, I referred to a pocket light that I carry, and we got a lot of suggestions from them. This is actually the pocket light that I was looking at getting, and then I ordered another one which is a little bit bigger because I wanted to try that one. But this one it's rechargeable, which is cool. Yeah. It does, I think it's 200 lumens, which the one I was using originally. Here you go, dude. Don't cut yourself.
Dude, I got this.
Here's a knife.
I'm a savage, dude. I'm a savage.
Please don't cut yourself. It's a brand new razor.
I know some people in the Congo that can, open that.
You know what, guys?
They're digging up cobalt, no tools.
Listen,
I'm
gonna be honest with you guys. Okay, all right. I'm kind of retarded.
Alex Jones reference. But so this is it's a basically the size of like a one battery, like a one AAA, one AA. But yeah, rechargeable, 200 lumens. And the nice thing is it has like one of those reversible clips on it. So not only can you put it in your pocket, but it has that extra part so you can do this. You can clip it on your hat.
Oh, freaking.
So I got this one for myself because I honestly, I thought this one was the same size, but this one's like ever so slightly larger. But yeah, you pull the top up like this and you get a little charging port.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got the big guy. The big LED guy.
These are cool.
Dude,
though.
that's epic.
They
Thanks,
fit
man.
great in the pocket. I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope
Yeah.
that gets Tyler to start carrying a freaking light.
I will clip it. I will do it. Oh man, it's already freaking pre-charged.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Not bad,
It's
right?
beautiful.
Thanks.
Dude, put
Thanks,
it in
man.
your back pocket and sit. Let me know
Oh,
how
I
you
would
like
do a
it.
little side pocket.
Are you going to go to the
action.
front?
Good.
Okay. All right.
Front pocket action.
Well, there you go. Merry
you're the
late
man.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
It's rad, dude. Thanks.
Next.
I'll give you a kiss later.
Okay.
Me too.
Should we start talking about trucks?
Yeah. Yes, we shall.
First off, this episode's probably going to get a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
We were upstairs getting
worry.
getting some Happy Fun juice, and Cooper was up there, and the kegs were a little foamy. And he goes, "Hey, you guys want some old fashions?" So now we've got cups full of old fashions, and they're not weak. So let it begin.
Let it begin. So, Ben, truck stuff. Finally did some really cool shit to your Excursion,
Yes,
which I actually really like the way it turned out.
I'm like 95% happy with it.
Yeah.
And I will be fully, I take that back. I'm like 90% happy with it. So for those of you who don't know, I have a 2004 Excursion. It's got a bunch of miles on it, but I've had it for actually today's 2-year anniversary. I bought it 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Time flies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bought it 2 years ago. Basically drove past it on the way into work at a corner little lot, bought it on my lunch, drove home.
Yeah.
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 It was a good time.
That was when you had the
Durango.
The Durango.
Left the Durango in the parking lot and never moved it again until I sold it. But I've been wanting to do some sort of update on the front end. There, of course, people are like, oh, do the 08, the 6.4 front end. There's aluminum duty front ends you can put on them. You can do the 11 to 16, 6.7 front ends. And don't get me wrong, I think those look great. I think the 6.4 front ends are really cool. The early 6.7 ones are really cool. But the thing is, it's really hard to match the front and the rear fender flares when you do that.
Yeah.
Also, it's a lot more involved, a lot more money.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to do something cool to the truck, I knew that I would basically have like an afternoon to get it done.
For sure. And I honestly, out of all those, I mean, I've seen a couple of trucks with a like there was that blue like the F-250 or 350 rolling around with a full 6.7.
Yeah, Jarrett.
Yeah. I like it. But I feel like sometimes when you skip too many generations of like grills
Right.
and put it on an older rig, it just looks out of place. Even though it fits and looks good, I definitely like the route you went. It's more period correct, but better looking than
And I
than
went
the
like
original.
the lightweight kind of cheap way, if you will. So here's what I did. So to do a proper 05 to 07 front end swap, it's the bumper, it's the header panel, the grill, the headlights. You got the harnesses have to change, which is not hard to do. That's probably the easiest part of the whole thing. But then bumper brackets, potentially fog light. Actually, they do use different fog lights when you go to the 05 to 07 grills. Bumper. And it ends up being kind of, I wouldn't say it's an ordeal because you're just taking all the old stuff off and put all the new stuff on. It's not necessarily hard, but the price tag goes from, a few hundred to like 2,500.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going to do a full front end on that, I want to get it paint matched, which means now I got to go get things painted, put them back on. It's
1,000, 2,000.
Exactly. It's just more than I really want to do.
Yeah.
So I went so Sinister, there's a company called MKM. That's Mike, Kilo Mike. It's actually owned by Sinister, MKM Customs. They make a 05 to 07 grill that is modified by them to work with the 99 to 04 bumper. It's a pretty good fit. That's one of the things that I'm not, the corners are not quite the right angle. It could be because my bumper's old. It could be like there's 6 different styles of bumpers for 9904.
Yeah.
And they just may have mocked it up on one that was slightly different. I don't fault them at all for it.
I know you're super particular with that, and since you installed it, I know you're more particular than the average. But from a guy that didn't see I saw the before, but I saw the after. I know what 2 spots you're talking about, and it didn't catch my eye. So I mean, that's
good.
So there's that.
The only other thing is and I haven't done, because I literally finished this like on Sunday, and so I've been kind of working out the little parts afterwards to like now it's Wednesday. So
Right.
like every day I've actually been tinkering for like 5-10 minutes when I get home and try and like line things up.
Yeah.
But when you switch to the 05 to 07 headlights, and I got these from Sinister too. So they're not like, they're not your $99 eBay specials. They're not your Amazon specials. They are, in my opinion, they are a good high quality sealed beam unit, like the whole one piece.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, can't adjust them.
Yeah.
Can't adjust up or down, anything like that.
Are they
But
at least in a decent, like,
they're
decent
aimed
shot?
okay. The thing is, the end goal for the front of the truck, it'll have Bajas in the wide. It'll outpower my lights no matter what.
Right.
So I'm more so going for kind of like the look and the aesthetic right now. But they're not adjustable. And I found a guy, like an old video of someone adjusting them with a screw. So I'm wondering if maybe you actually get the Ford factory lights, which are a hell of a lot more money.
Yeah.
Or you find some ones that were takeoffs and clean them up, that you might have that adjustment built in there. But if not, unfortunately, it's just the way it is. I may try and shim. I may be able to get a couple more degrees out of it by shimming the bottom screws and get just a tilt forward ever so slightly.
Yeah.
But other than that, the install was very easy. They switch over to an H13, which is also a 9008 type bulb. I do have some Sylvania ultra bright whites. That's the orange package in there right now. Not super bright. But I also think I have my alternator is not doing a good job right now. I have another alternator put in there. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. And battery cables.
Yeah. But my alternator is like, I got a feeling I'm not getting juice where I'm not getting enough where I'm supposed to get it anyways. But
It's possible.
But once I do get I got some Baja Squadron Sports I'm going to put in the fog light location. And those are, the wide cornering lens. So those will just beat the shit out of whatever lights I put in there anyways.
Yeah.
But I will probably end up I may do a LED in there. I know they're not LED housings. Okay, guys. I know that. I get it. But I like the look and the color temperature of the LEDs. And I just want them to match the Bajas because the Bajas are going to be taking the brunt of the work as far as lighting.
Yeah.
And then probably some LED switchbacks in there. Like I used basically the running bulbs that came with it.
Yeah.
I took some videos of it. I'm trying to snip them all together so I can show you guys, but I was literally trying to do it while my daughter was napping. I had the baby monitor out there, and I shit you not, it's on video. Like I peel the plastic off the Ford symbol, and like the little thing lights up, and I look over, my daughter's just sitting there kind of like messing around with her little teddy bears. I'm like, that's fucking perfect timing.
Yeah.
This couldn't have gone better.
Perfect.
But I do really like it. I like the way it looks.
I like the way it looks too.
I went with a chrome grill and the white 07 or 05 to 07 headlights. Everybody's like, oh, you should have got the blacked out ones. I didn't want to add another color on the front of the truck because it's really got a lot of colors on it. Not that it's been wrecked, but it just has chrome, burgundy, maybe some tan, some black
gray
molding. Yeah, it's just a lot of color going on.
Molding,
I don't need to add something else in there.
True.
But overall, I really like it. And this is one of those few things, okay, guys? One of the few things. When my wife came home, she saw it and she's, that looks really good. And I was like,
yeah,
I did it.
Yeah.
It's like, you have no idea how much I've done to this vehicle and
that you haven't noticed.
that you haven't noticed. You think I'm out here just farting around,
Yeah.
dressing with these all random different pressure pumps and lines and O-rings and shit.
Yeah.
And it looks nice. And I was like, oh,
Right on.
thank you. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it looks good too. I may have actually blown some snot out my nose.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing there. But yeah, so I'm very happy with it. I think I'm probably going to do some Morimoto LEDs in there. I've always want to try them out.
Yeah.
There's a big buzz about them. Alec from Industrial Injection runs those in stock housings, and he's like, I know you're not supposed to, like, just so you guys know, like, if you don't have housings made for LEDs, it's not going to throw the light the way you think it's going to.
Right.
So it may look really bright, and from the outside,
But it's
when
not
you're
actually projecting it.
yeah, from the outside, when you're like 10, 15 feet away, you're going to be like, damn, that's really bright. And you may even be like 50, 60 feet away, and when your eyeballs line up perfectly with the lens, like, wow, that's bright. But then when you get in the truck, you're like, are my beams even on?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's the whole, like, you're not, you should, to do things right, you would actually need to take these headlights and have them retrofitted with like some projectors in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's when you get
That's when you get a good beam.
that's when you get the hotness. And you know what? Maybe in the future, I may end up doing that. I don't know. But at least step one of the big pile of parts I have in the corner of my office,
Yeah.
At least it's not as big anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Starting to chick them off.
Starting to chip away.
Yeah.
Well, as he's chipping away at parts, I'm driving myself completely insane.
Yeah.
I call this analysis paralysis.
That's a real thing.
It is okay. Well, anyways, I've been so I had an idea, I have this money basically set aside for this, for my wheels and tires for my truck, and I was gonna go with the method. I can't remember what they were, like 301s. I can't remember. 411s. Something. Now this may sound like nothing. If it's a wheel you really wanted, it was a wheel that I wanted, but I was still looking around. But then the price went up on them, like $80 a wheel.
Yeah.
And then I started rethinking. I'm like, man, like I think I could find like not that I'm a cheap ass, but that wheel is like, there's nothing really special about that wheel.
Right.
I mean, it's not a bead grip. It's not a bead lock. It's not like some super, badass material. It's just a kind of a pretty basic wheel.
Yeah.
And for $80 more, like it made me not excited about it anymore.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a wheel that it was good enough for the price that you were getting it.
Right.
It was like, all kind of, nothing was like peaking at a 10. It was like an average of like a 7.5, but like nothing was carrying it.
Right.
So it's like if one of them drops down, score's fucked.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing my favorite thing about those wheels was the color. Just because I didn't want to do like a like a chrome wheel or a brushed aluminum or whatever they call their silver wheel. This is more, it's called their titanium color, which is the same color I have on my side-by-side, which I actually really like.
That's the same color I had on the first Excursion.
Yeah, and the color actually is a little darker in person, which I liked, and I don't want to go black. There they are.
Yeah, 314s.
314s and gloss titanium is. Gotcha. Okay. So again, I was stoked on them, and then the price went up, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start shopping around. Well, that was the freaking worst thing I ever decided, because now I'm like, I have no idea. I have looked up. I've looked at Weld Racing. I've looked at KMC. I've looked at Fuel. I've looked at Raceline.
Icon.
I've looked at Icon. I've looked at what was the last one? I've looked at all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm trying to find. I wanted to stick with a 17 because I like the sidewall to wheel ratio with on a 35. And I like the price of the tires with a 17.
Man, that's a good looking wheel.
Yeah, whose is that? The thing I don't like about them, honestly, I don't want a bead lock ring, and I don't want a simulated bead lock ring. I'm just not going with that type of look with my truck. So I'm having such a hard time finding wheels. Like I've literally looked through catalog on top of catalog on top of catalog. I've looked everywhere, and I can't find anything that's just like, hell yeah. And so right now I'm at basically a pause, which sucks because I do want wheels and tires, but I don't want to get something I'm not going to like, in 2 weeks after I get them installed. Help.
It's hard.
Someone help me.
Well, and even some of the other wheels that you sent me, I can tell it's like, you're kind of thinking
grasping.
But you're grasping.
Yeah.
And the first thing that always comes to my mind is like, one of the reasons that I do not like the wheels I have on the Excursion is they're not even super intricate, but they do have a lot of design features on them.
Yeah. Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to our general manager, Cooper Rasmussen.
Yeah.
For making us these old fashions. They are old fashioned.
They are old fashioned. That's for sure.
Good work.
But here's the thing too, like, asking.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
And when you get the wheels that have all those like little dimples and all those little extra features, they are a pain in the ass to keep clean.
100%.
It's total pain in the ass.
Well, even like a spoked wheel like that. Like I've noticed even on my side-by-side, it's a pain in the butt to clean those too. Because like you'll go through, clean the wheel, and then it all dries off, and then you realize you missed one side of half the spokes. You're like, shit. What I was gonna say too is it's hard it's almost impossible for someone else to pick out wheels for you
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, go with these because wheels are so. I bet you they're not 8 on 6.5.
Because he went through Black.
That
was it, Black Rhino. You went through Black Rhino,
yeah. But like how wheels are so it's like a hairstyle, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you know, having someone pick that out for you isn't you know, well, I mean, unless you're bald and you got only one hairstyle to choose from, but you know, just it's very personal. It's I don't know. I'm just at a standstill right now.
It got me starting to look at wheels too, because I do not like my wheels, but for the right price, I'm willing to get into something more original.
Yeah.
I'm talking like even a soft 8, just normal whole wheels.
Yeah.
Like Raceline makes some, Pro Comp does. Just the Pro Comp alloys with the soft 8, like that on the Excursion, I think would look classic.
Can we pull those up and see what they look like? And I also want to show you that Raceline wheel I was looking at. I found a Raceline wheel because I gotta have 16s because I just bought new tires. I don't want to change them. Gotcha. And so, and here's the thing too. I'm not opposed to going to an 18. I'm a little opposed to going to a 20, even though I know a 20 would probably look pretty good on that truck. Like that's what you're talking about?
Is that a steel? No, mine were alloys.
Okay.
But that same design, yes.
Okay.
The holes are a bit bigger, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's no feature on the lip of the wheel or anything like that.
I've bought so many of those wheels for shitty wheel. Like I bought a set.
But when they're actually an aluminum wheel, they don't look that
cheap.
Yeah.
It looked like a trailer rim.
I had a set of the Kragers on my XJ.
Yeah.
The black steelies.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little frustrated because it's like I'm ready to do it, but I gotta like what I'm buying.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm
Well,
at.
you're gonna have to do something sooner or later because your tires are getting.
I know.
Tatered.
Oh yeah. I'm yeah. Those things. I am very surprised on how well those tires actually did for what maybe it was the driver. Pat myself on the back maybe for that, but I had zero issues anywhere. I mean, you throw it in 4-wheel drive. I think the truck's long and heavy enough. It just kind of goes. But
the tires are skinny enough. You know,
even if I'm just like in 2-wheel drive going down a slick road, it kind of takes a lot for that back into that truck to kind of get get funky on you. So yeah, I don't know. I know I need to do something. And see, here's the thing too. If I went to an 18, I could buy tires right now and just mount them up on my stock wheels, and then keep searching for wheels.
I think that might be probably your best bet, because if you are going to be this indecisive on wheels, you might as well get the tires that you want on there now. That way you're at least covered there. That way there's no clock on you. That way it's just
there's no
I
clock
can find
at all.
what I find when I find it.
I mean, it's not going to change the height of anything. I mean, so offset might be a little different because I kind of do want, I kind of do want the wheel to kind of stick out, the tire to stick out a little bit over the fender, just to kind of give it a little bit,
stance,
a little stance.
As one guy says, little stancy boy,
little stancy boy.
Yeah.
So that's the gayest thing Tyler's ever said.
Yeah. Your underwear with the hole in the back.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you guys. Again, I hate even like asking because it's like everybody has their own style. If I know some of our listeners are probably gonna send me some like forces with like some crazy offset and go, hey, run these.
So what I'll do is on the Facebook page, I'll post a couple of links or maybe some pictures of what you've considered so far.
Yeah.
And be like, these are the ones that Tyler's at least considered.
Yeah.
But ended up not going with.
Yeah.
Do your best.
But here's the thing. Even if we did like a poll and like, oh, these ones won, if I look at them, I'm going, no. The poll, like it's like,
well, you never know. Someone may be like, oh yeah, I've seen that kind of style wheel. It's one of these.
Yeah.
Shit,
dude, I even thought of doing AEV wheels. Getting a set of
the Saltas.
Saltas.
Yeah.
But I'm not stoked on them though, because we've used them on so many rigs that it's like, yeah.
Can you still get those in the 17x10?
I think so, yeah. Because that's what they use on their 40-inch tire kit.
That could be kind of tight. 17 by 10?
Maybe. I'd have to do like the anthracite color. But
Yeah.
even though, I mean, it's pretty close to black. And I'm pretty against doing like an all black wheel. I'm just tired of seeing
They've
that.
got a, so it's either like that dark gray,
Yeah. It's
almost black,
black.
or it's like a bright
black.
brushed aluminum.
Yeah, right. And I don't want to do that. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I've got the money set aside for it. I just need to figure out what I'm doing and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one more thing to talk about.
All right.
So
I have one more thing too.
this is for my Super Duty boys out there. So if you do follow Edge, you have seen that and especially on the newer trucks, they've come out with some really badass mounts for mounting like your inside or your basically their CTS3 screen. And they've been making it for all the newer trucks, like the 22s. They've been working their way down. Yeah. And they're like a hard mount. Which is really
they're metal.
Cool. They're metal, yeah. And I didn't know they were metal. But like they are a hard mount to where it's like it mounts onto the pillar. It utilizes factory bolts. Like it's a good, solid mount for these things. Because in the past, you either had a pillar with a gauge hole that you put an adapter in, which it can wiggle. Yeah. Or you had your suction cup mount, which it can wiggle. Or it can fall off. Or potentially dash mount, which it can still wiggle. Yeah. And like me personally, I'm running I took it off my windshield because I got my windshield tinted, and my guy was like, I noticed you have a suction cup thing on there. I would not use that because if you start pulling the tint away, it's going to screw everything up, and that's not covered. Like, I'm not fixing that for you. Yeah. These windshields are already pain enough in the ass. Like, I'm not fixing that. Right. Like, noted.
Yeah, got it.
So now I have like a suction cup like literally onto my dash, like 90 degree towards me. And I was going to put that in my because I have a lower F650 dash I'm going to be installing in there as well. I was going to put that down there. So I had everything kind of in the center of the truck or center of the Excursion. And then I saw Edge posted they made one for the 05 to 07 trucks. I was like, sick. So I messaged Mark.
Are you allowed to talk about this yet?
Fuck, I don't know. But here we go. So I messaged Mark and I was like, hey man, I don't know if you guys are doing one for the earlier 9904 trucks. But if you are, let me know. Like, I'd love to get one. Yeah. And he's like, shoot Jacob an email. Jacob White. He's like, he's one of your 7-3 brothers. Like, I met Jacob, like, it was like a handshake. Hi, how are you? Like, literally, I'd like to think we probably know of each other just because the 7-3 community is not very large. Right. But so I saw a message, and all of a sudden this box shows up. And I'm like, sick. And the box is actually heavy. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you put in here? Like a bag of dicks? Because we 7-3 folks are like that. Yeah. I've sent a bag of dicks to someone before. But he sent the mount. And I didn't realize, but it's metal. Yeah. Like, it's a pretty cool mount, said it was metal, and I feel like I knew it was metal, but like the picture I saw of the rendering, I was like, oh, it's plastic. It's cool though. I was still stoked for it to be plastic. Right. But it clips onto the pillar itself. And then has kind of like a brace inside, and as you tighten it down, it just kind of grips tighter and tighter and tighter on the edges of your pillar. Yep. So you can mount it low, you can mount it high, basically wherever that profile matches in the side of the pillar, you can put it there. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is the best day of my life. Yeah. That just opened up a whole extra spot in my F650 lower dash.
Do you know what I could totally see people doing though with that mount?
Cell phones.
No.
What?
Tightening that screw too much and cracking their pillar.
Yeah, well, then they shouldn't be doing that shit. But I brought it. You guys can't necessarily, if you're listening, you can't really freaking see it, but...
He's got a backpack full of goodies today.
Yeah.
Right? What else you got in there?
Backpack. Backpack. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but... yeah, she's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super stoked on that.
Let me just put my hands on that.
Thank you, Edge, for fucking firing that my way. I'm going to probably be putting that on in the next couple days here. But I am super excited about that. That literally changes the entire plan for the lower dash on my truck. Like now, instead of having my trailer brake controller hanging off the bottom of the dash, I may be actually able to integrate it into like one of the holes in there, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It'll work.
I came into Tyler's office and I was like on cloud 500.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you got there? What are you trying to do?
What are you so excited about? Yeah. Like, look at this thing! It's so cool!
I'm like, sick, bro.
Yeah, he's like a mount for your stupid ass old truck. Leave me alone, Tyler.
Another thing we got here. So we had a listener send in a question to me. Mitch Sunwall.
Mm-hmm.
He sent in. First of all, he wanted to thank me for converting him over to Cummins
From Ford.
from a Ford.
You're
He's
dead
like,
in Mitch.
basically, it was the best thing I ever did in my life.
Well,
My life literally changed after that.
What Ford was he driving beforehand? I can play a big difference.
450.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyways,
Thanks for putting your belt
the
on.
specifics don't matter. Okay. But he came across a video of so he has got a 2012 Ram. I believe it was 2500 crew short, good looking truck, all white, chrome accents, nice looking truck.
Mm-hmm.
Fully emissions compliant, intact. But he sent a video that was kind of talking about fuel mileage of a 2012 truck that has been deleted.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically asked, first of all, is this true? Can you gain, this amount of mileage with doing this? And secondly, can you obtain this type of mileage with emissions intact? So we're going to answer your question for you on the podcast.
There you go. Live action.
And
he emailed you today, didn't he?
Yesterday,
Okay.
I think. So can you gain mileage by doing deletes on your truck? I think everybody would say the answer would be yes.
Especially on the older emission systems. And what I say by that is anything that's pre-def, I consider older.
Even the first couple years of def, I would
Mm-hmm.
say it's a pretty good chance you're going to gain mileage. I mean, I would say probably up until probably 16, 17 is when
I was going to say
shit
14, 15.
Yeah, it starts getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. You can obtain, and this guy was getting, his Liometer was saying, I think it was 21. He said it was 1.4 miles per gallon off.
Yeah, and it was wintertime fuel.
Wintertime fuel. He was getting around it was saying around 22 or something like that. Well, the guy, he shows his whole trip of going to the gas station, filling up, and hand calculating it out, which is the way you should be doing it regardless. And it was, like he said, it was 1.4 miles off. He was getting 21.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, obviously you can gain mileage with deleting a truck. You're eliminating a process in which the truck burns excessive amounts of fuel to superheat the exhaust to clean itself. You're eliminating that process. So if you drove it the same as you were driving it before, yes, mileage can be gained. But if you're running it on a freaking go fast tune all the time and driving it like an idiot, your mileage is probably going to go down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a lot, funner to drive, and it's going to sound a lot cooler.
Oh yeah.
But it comes down to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it is true you can gain mileage. Okay. But it's also true that you can obtain great mileage with emissions intact. And going back to the early emissions trucks, yes, there was issues with them.
Mm-hmm.
The systems would plug up. You'd have filters and or EGR. So there's some maintenance that needs to be done. And so I kind of wrote down a couple of things for Mitch to try to get up to or very close to that type of mileage, which is totally obtainable on your truck, Mitch.
And again, I cannot reiterate enough that even on a deleted truck, driving style is still very important.
100%.
And this guy, even if being deleted, getting into the 20s routinely, he is grandpawing.
Yes.
He is feather footing. He's that guy that's barely making it up the on-ramp, merging into everywhere.
Yeah.
He's going 68 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah.
He's and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Go ahead.
If you want to obtain the best mileage, I mean, that's what you have to do.
It's especially if you're going from a gas engine to a diesel, you have to remember, and Tyler was really good about reiterating this when I first started working here, your foot is the fuel.
Yeah.
It's not like a gas engine where your foot is the throttle body and it opens and everything else calculates. Your foot is the fuel.
Yeah.
You can dictate, which means you can drive it really efficiently, or you can use way too much.
Yeah, a really good way to kind of teach yourself to drive for mileage is with an Edge Insight. and put the mileage coach on. Or like on, I don't know if a 12 has it, but like on my truck, it has that little gauge thing, that little swinging gauge
the
for
instant
mileage.
readout.
Yeah, the instant readout of mileage. And you can sit there and kind of, as you're driving, you can see what kind of throttle input will affect, the instant mileage. And the whole name of the game is to get the average up. Keep trying to get the average up. So the more you can stay past, so let's say you're getting 15 miles per gallon, that little bar that swings, as long as you keep it past 15 for the majority of the time, like your mileage is going to go up. Obviously we call them lyometers because they do, it's based off of calculations and whatnot. There's other things that come into play, but they're pretty close. Yeah. Especially when we're talking a completely stock truck. And
it's a good indication of just a status report.
Exactly.
If your lyometer all of a sudden tells you a severely different number.
Yeah.
Okay, something's going on. You don't necessarily like, oh, I went down to 16. That's a direct. No, it's more like the number's different. What's going on?
Right. And I don't know what you're getting for mileage right now, Mitch, but here's some things that you might want to think about doing that are totally doable at home. It just, one takes a little bit of time and a little bit of money on some of these. So first thing is cleaning your EGR and your DPF system. What's involved in cleaning that? Well, you have to take it off. There's solutions you can get. I can't remember. There's an actual Mopar DPF, or not DPF, EGR cleaner that you can get. But what episode we talked about this, and there was did we not talk about it? We talked about it in my office, I think, because we were looking at that Gino's garage had like an EGR cleaning kit, which basically consists of like gaskets
plus a crankcase vent filter
and a filter and whatnot.
It was actually a really cool kit. I know they're technically a competitor of ours, but we were looking at their website like that's kind of cool,
right? But it was essentially just gaskets, which we sell. It's the cleaning solution that you need. So you basically take off your EGR valve, crossover tube, EGR cooler, take all that stuff off. You basically dunk it in this cleaner. Like when I did it at the dealer, we would literally, I'd drop the EGR cooler, completely submerge it in the stuff and kind of let it sit there. And then you just clean it out. So that's one thing you could try. DPF system. Now there is a couple. Yeah. Intake manifold?
Yeah, so sorry, I threw an image at Tyler while he's like, I interrupted him. But as far as things you can do also, because I'm going to guess you're probably going to chase a little bit of performance here.
Well, yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I'm getting excited.
DPF, okay? There's a couple different things you can do. You can go the extremely cheap route, which I don't know exactly how effective this stuff is. I've used it before. It's just called DPF Clean, and it's in a bottle. And I think it's made by like Liquid Moly or someone like that. And you just pour it in your fuel tank, and that supposedly helps clean out the DPF filter. Now, that is like baseline, bare bones, like the cheapest thing you can do, easiest thing you can do. And again, I don't know how effective it is, especially because his truck, I think it had 123,000 miles on it. So again, I don't know how effective that stuff is. The much more effective way to do it is, again, it's a product by Liquid Moly. I think it's about $550. But at least you'll have the stuff, and all you have to get is the solution after. But it's an actual cleaning kit where you're pulling sensors out, and it comes with a couple bottles, and it comes with this sort of spray head that you connect to your air compressor, and actually put it in the sensor hole and spray in there and clean the DPF like before or after. Like it's more isolated, and I think that's a better route to go. Again, it's the more expensive route to go. But it's all about getting that system clean, because once it gets caked up with crap, it doesn't want to function as well as it did when it was brand new. I mean, especially EGR coolers, if they get plugged, it's not going to be moving the air as efficiently as it did before. Same with your EGR valve. I've seen EGR valves get so plugged up that it doesn't even actuate. Getting that in the EGR valve is probably one of the easiest things you can clean. It's 4 bolts. I think they're 10 millimeter bolts and a clamp, and you can have that thing off. And you can literally take the 4 like Phillips, I think they're Phillips head screws on the solenoid. You pull that whole solenoid off, and then you can actually get it submerged, actuate it with your thumb, get everything nice and clean. That's probably one of the biggest the biggest things you can do to help with mileage on a truck with 123,000 miles on it. Making sure that your tire size is calibrated correctly for your truck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what mods are done to your truck, but like Ben was mentioning, there's anything you can do to enhance airflow in or out of the truck is going to be beneficial. Hence, like the BD intake or the Banks intake manifold.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the best ones out there.
Gets rid of that stock grid heater, which gets caked up.
That gets caked up.
You still have it.
I should have brought that up.
Well, then you still have a heating element because it puts
Yep.
a heating element in the intake manifold.
Yeah, that the factory grid heaters. I should have brought that up bigger. That's probably a bigger deal than the EGR valve, honestly, because on the stock engine on those heaters, the intake manifold itself is like 4 inches by, let's say, well, it's like 4 inches by 8 inches. Okay, but the actual air like the section of where the air can flow is only like 1 inch by 6 inches. It's a very small passageway. And again, that gets caked up with soot. And we'll start to completely close that path of airflow. So either getting rid of that or again, cleaning that as well. But again, going with that Banks intake manifold with their grid heater basically relocation at that point would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
So any airflow enhancements, whether it be an intake manifold, I mean, I hate saying this, but charge tubes, they can help. It's one of those things where all airflow enhancements, as far as mileage, it's one of those things that it's a conglomeration of all of them together that adds up to give you the mileage. Not that one single thing is going to like just boost your mileage a ton.
Exactly. I think if you put that Banks intake manifold on there, it's probably the single biggest piece as far as airflow enhancements you can put on there, aside from like a turbo or a manifold or something like that. But like I've talked to other people about that too. It's like, are you going to put charge tubes on there and all of a sudden you feel
like, oh my
power?
God.
Like, no.
No.
Like, no, but it is part of the equation.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are trying to get the best out of the truck,
yep,
it is part of the equation. You got to look into that.
Yeah.
But I think intake, Banks manifold, and I would say I don't know if you have it on your list or not, but it's high quality tuning. Like either calibrated power or PPEI. Those guys are both making really, really high quality emissions and tach tuning.
Yep. Put your mirrors down.
Yeah. Don't be a dick. We know you just bought a Cummins. You feel like you have to have them flipped out.
Put them down.
Put them down. Stop it.
And then basic maintenance. When was the last time you changed your fuel filters?
Yeah.
When was the last time you changed your oil?
Dude,
what kind of oil are you using?
You bought a 123,000 mile truck. It might have been for the original owner, unless you have documentation of when a lot of these things were changed and you're planning to keep this truck for a long time. That's on you, boo boo. You get all that done.
Yeah. And again, I don't know when he bought this truck, if he just bought it with 123,000, or he, has had it for 60,000 miles. I don't know. I probably should have asked you, but basic maintenance. Change the transmission fluid. Get a quality engine oil in there.
Mm-hmm.
Check all your filters.
Do a boost leak detection test.
100%.
Every truck has a boost leak. Fact.
Yes, absolutely. Most of them do. Air filter. All those things aid in mileage. You have to understand mileage is a measurement of efficiency. So you need to do whatever you can do to make sure that you're moving that truck up in the efficiency range. So anything that you can do for that. Like Ben mentioned, even with his, we all know, his truck is older than a 2012, but what if you could have a couple calipers sticking?
Yeah. With 123, the chances are your front wheel bearings are they may not be tatered, but they may not be doing what they're supposed to do anymore.
Yeah. But it's all these little things that add up, and it actually makes a big difference in your mileage. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't know where you're starting with. I would assume you're probably 14 to 17, maybe 17.
Like if you did a highway cruise of like 60 to 70 miles an hour, you're probably 17.
Yeah. I think cleaning the EGR system, cleaning the DPF, what tire pressure you're running, that kind of stuff. Maybe doing a couple airflow enhancements, and then just doing a big, again, if this is a new truck to you, a big go through and do all the maintenance. Mm-hmm. And again, doing high quality oil. We're going to have the Schaefer's guy on here again, because I remember him talking about how engine oil affects emissions
Totally.
So running a good engine oil like Schaefer's, that's what we push. That's what I run. All that stuff adds up. And I bet you at the end of the day, you do some of these things, you'll be knocking on 20's door on the freeway going 65 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll be up there. I mean, and yes, you can get that kind of mileage out of a emissions intact truck. I mean, I know my truck is kind of a different, I got a truck with 30,000 miles on it and it's, a 2021.
You've got almost 10 years of advancements of emissions products on there too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's a new truck, but I'm in the 20s. I'm in the 20s. I know that for a fact because I know my thing is saying 22 and I know that's.
Think about how crazy that is.
I know.
Even just 5 years ago.
I'm pretty low and lean to the ground.
I know. But think about just 5 years ago. If someone called in and told us they're getting 20 miles a gallon with emissions intact, we'd be like,
yeah, no, you're not. No,
for what? The one downhill portion by your house where you reset your lyometer? Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. No, but there are guys that will tell you, with emissions removed that they're getting 25, 26. They're full of shit.
Yeah. If someone tells you 30, you punch them in the chest.
Yeah. You're an idiot. That's not possible.
Yeah.
But 20 is about where you're going to be at with that kind of truck. I mean, and that's just how it is. So, if you want better mileage, that's why we say get a beater with a heater, get a little Honda or something. If you
get yourself a little TDI or something.
But it is obtainable. You can get close to that. Again, it's just going through here's the thing too. You could have maybe 2 or 3 injectors that are maybe returning too much fuel, or you could have a leak in between a tube and an injector. There's so many little things that you could have going on. And when I say like 2 or 3 injectors that are maybe returning too much fuel, that won't come up on any scan tool.
No.
Like it's not going to give you a check engine light saying, hey, injector 5 is returning too much. It's just not. It's going to basically wait to get to the point where it's essentially kind of causing a misfire for it to really do anything. And even so, it might not even give you a misfire code. It's probably going to give you like a low boost, low boost detect, something.
It'll be result of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something ancillary of that. So it's again, you could have there's so many things you could go through everything. Like again, checking boost, checking all the injectors. I mean, there's so many things you could check.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, you could have a bunch of dirt and grime buildup in your whole radiator assembly up front that's making your intercooler not run as efficient as it was before, and now it's not cooling the air, and now it's not burning efficiently because now you've got this warm air that's getting pushed into your it's all those things that affect mileage.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of kind of narrowing it down and doing a couple things and seeing what the results are and moving forward from there.
Yeah, and I think it's totally attainable. I think if you kind of work through the truck methodically, you'll be fine. And and I'm going to play total devil's advocate here. If you bought that 3/4 ton truck because it gets great mileage, you're probably in the wrong game.
Yeah.
And if you heard all this stuff Tyler just listed off and you're like, shit, I don't want to do all that and get great mileage, well, then you bought a truck for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Again, these things are built to move weight. I know not everybody's using them to move weight,
yeah,
but that's what they're built for. Okay. Yeah. The other side of it here is like, I find it kind of fun, like picking different systems and diagnosing them and making them work as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
Like and you can have that checklist with yourself. Like, all right, I'm going to go through and make sure my charge air system is absolutely pristine.
Yeah.
I'm going to boost leak test everything. I'm going to fine comb it. I'm going to data log it.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out exactly if I have any leaks, where they are, what they're doing, where I can make enhancements there.
Yep.
And I'm going to move on to the next thing, move on to the fuel. And now I'm going to move on to the drivetrain.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the front half of the drivetrain, do the back half of the drivetrain. Also, Tyler didn't mention free spin kit. Get yourself a fucking free spin kit, man. Stop pushing an axle around.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that too.
Especially on stock size tires. Oof.
But yeah, he's got bigger wheels and tires, but it's still, I mean, it's rolling resistance that does not help with mileage whatsoever. So but there's a ton of things you can do. I would just start going through them. Like Ben was saying, pick a system, go through it, check it off the list. Maybe next week, do another one. Yeah.
And the nice thing is if you start doing and checking that list off before you start buying performance parts, it's because I can tell you right now, if you go instantly intake, tuner, intake, manifold,
Yeah.
you're going to enjoy the way the truck runs immediately and then not be so happy with the mileage maybe 6 months down the road. And then you're going to be backtracking. And then maybe you're like, well, if I get injectors now, I may be able to get some more power and some more mileage. But or I got to buy charge tubing now. I got to do this now. I got to rebuild my rear end or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you go through the truck with a fine tooth comb first before you start doing all that stuff, I think you're going to have a better time. If you just got to get your jollies off right now, it's like, God, this thing needs to wake up. Get yourself some tuning on there.
Yeah.
Truck's going to wake up. And hell, maybe your truck is already running really, 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 really well. And you put tuning on there and you notice that your mileage maybe doesn't even go down, but goes up maybe 1 mile a gallon.
Yeah.
Call that a fucking win.
Yeah.
Like you got a truck that you added 100 horsepower to.
Yeah.
And your truck's getting better mileage than it did before.
Yeah. And keep this in mind. This is why I always say mileage is a measurement of efficiency. Okay. And and like I said, there's so many things that go into mileage. You're never going to find any performance company that guarantees you mileage.
Yeah.
Because if they are, they're lying to you. I mean, I don't think there's any part that we sell that says guaranteed 2 miles per gallon more.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other aspects of the truck that could be having an issue that maybe is just enough to where it's still running fine, but not enough for it to actually show itself.
Hmm.
And again, then you start adding horsepower to it. And now that issue is now compiled and it's like trying to keep up now with the tuner. And again, this whole time it's never going to throw a code for anything because it's still kind of within range. But again, it could, if you put a tuner on the truck and you notice your mileage drops drastically, then that's a good indication there's something else going on.
Like, yeah, immediately. First thing you do, start driving like a grandpa, reassess. Mileage still goes down. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I would bet $100 if a boost leak.
Yeah.
$100 easily.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them too used on that year. I think they were plastic cold side pipes. So,
well, no, wasn't that the third gen 6.7s that had the weird charge piping?
I think they used that up.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but they use plastic in places they shouldn't freaking use plastic.
When we say plastic, we're not talking like, oh, it's a plastic hose that flexes. We're talking hard plastic that's supposed to hold boost.
Yeah.
And this truck's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like, it's cracked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let us know what you think in the comment section. Or
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Tyler got a flashlight out of. He's stoked.
Dude,
Corey got a flashlight out of. He's stoked.
stoked.
I'm happy. But yeah, if you want to chime in on the episode here, have any questions, Facebook is the best place to do it. If you want to join there, make sure you submit and answer the questions. I made those questions, and I approve every person that comes through. Those questions are built to have multiple right answers and many wrong answers. So the guaranteed way to not get in is if you don't answer any of them.
Yeah.
I swear, I will decline you. I've already declined.
I swear I will.
Yeah.
I swear it.
I declined. So far, I'm at a 30% decline rate.
Yeah.
To be fair, even Cooper answered the questions.
Yeah. Cooper doesn't even listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
I made him answer. Also, our other media guy that responded, I made him answer too. I declined him. Answer the questions, ginger.
Yeah.
Jerk. Daywalker.
We know he's listening.
I know. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.